I'm here at Epic Universe to get up close with the tech and talk to the teams that brought it alive.
Universal's newest theme park in Orlando, Florida is packed with robots and high-tech tricks, making it an ambitious feat in themed entertainment. There are 5 lands inside Epic, and we're going to start with the one called Dark Universe. It's a spooky village where scientists push the boundaries of technology, both in fantasy and reality. Inside the manor, you'll find Dr. Victoria Frankenstein presenting her latest creation, a 9-foot-tall, 800-pound walking monster.
He's so large and walking in front of us. We've never made a character walk in front of guests at that scale, especially a humanoid figure. But it's so lifelike. We use so many different technologies to make sure that we capture human performance and modify that so that it translates to the guests in our storytelling.
This is a pre-show for the ride Monsters Unchained. Dr. Frankenstein greets visitors, and she is a new kind of animatronic because a digitally animated face is projected on a physically animated head and jaw. Now, this is a step above previous attempts at digital faces on animatronics. Universal has patented technology to keep her head moving while blending it with projections. And to me, it gives this comic book look about her, and it can be viewed from any angle in the room.
There's a lot of new patented technology that's in this attraction to make sure that it's seamless, to make sure that the guests get the same experience over and over again.
The whole attraction features 14 animated figures, and the ride has you strapped into a robotic moving arm that carries you down a track, where every classic monster you can think of is lunging at you up close. The team says these are the most advanced animated figures that it has ever built in an attraction. But bringing them to life does include other special effects for the senses, like the feeling of a werewolf drooling on you.
I want to get guests as close to the action as possible. We also have binaural audio on the vehicle where, it's a sense of something being really close to your ears or really far away. There's haptics, the sense of touch, where the guests can actually feel big moments.
Folks too scared to ride can also find some of the best special effects in the line itself, where we see Dracula as a bat trapped in a ring contraption, and it's all done using a 3D screen that doesn't require any 3D glasses.
That technology actually was one of the most complicated out of the entire queue, and even more than some of the scenes in the attraction.
If a robot ever has a glitch of some sort, there are things called B modes, where the show designers kind of maybe direct your attention to a screen instead if one of the robots aren't working. But I would hope that everyone can experience what we're seeing today.
Flying over to another themed land, I could get up close with robotic dragons, like real close. Some walk around the park, and others fly overhead. This is the Isle of Berk. It's a Viking world themed to the How to Train Your Dragon movies. And just scattered throughout your path are more than 30 animated figures. Some are sleeping dragons, some are growling dragons, some are hiding or just hanging around.
I think one of the things here that we focused on is having kind of achieving the essence of the movie where dragons and Vikings live in harmony here. So it wouldn't be something out of the ordinary to have a dragon just walking down the path past you, So I think that was something that we really wanted to provide to our guests.
Universal also gave birth to 3 models of untethered baby dragons. These walk around and perform some stunts in a show for the crowds. It adopts some of the tech that you find in today's quadruped robot dogs, but of course these are much cuter in dragon form.
So there's a lot of thought that goes into that. In the technical realm anyway, we'll do a lot of hazard analysis, especially when something is going to be close to interfacing with guests. And a lot of that also includes making sure that, say, something maybe doesn't function in the way that we'd imagine, that there's some sort of contingency. We call B-show, where, okay, maybe we have a certain function out in a figure, but we can still operate it in this manner, et cetera, et cetera.
You're not supposed to get up close with these babies, but you can get close to Toothless. He is the star of the land. A life-size and very emotive animatronic dragon reacts to each guest. And you can not only see him breathing, you can feel his breath too.
And you know what? They had a couple of rules when you're going to meet a dragon. You cannot touch the dragon's eyes or the teeth. I wouldn't want to touch their teeth. but it is really sweet. It's a sweet experience. And they really emote with his nose moves and kind of has a funny little smile. They did a good job on making it feel like a cartoon has come to life.
The land is about training dragons, but a lot of humans needed to be trained to work alongside these robots. Some are also part of a big stage show, where an actor rides an animatronic Toothless soaring above the audience before it lands on the stage. But this is not the only flying dragon. There were also plans to launch flying drones disguised as dragons in the skies above.
The drone program has been something that's been in development for as long as the program has been alive, and they are right on the precipice of adding those to the skyline here. And I think that'll really complete the picture, especially here at the Vista when you're actually looking out at the Isle of Berk.
And if robots weren't enough of a challenge to put everywhere, the team needs to have it work every day in the brutal Florida heat.
We had to do a lot of integration of elements into, let's say, something as simple as our shade structures. It's something that I think, might fly over everyone's heads, like, oh, it's just a shade structure. But the level of integration of show lighting and MEP, fans, those kinds of things to keep everybody cool in the Isle of Berk, even those alone were a challenge.
Some robots in Epic are harder to spot, and when you do, it may have you doing a double take at the Wizarding World of Harry Potter Ministry of Magic. But even if the magical creature is small, it can still be a big feat to pull it off, which is also true of what guests find in the big ride here, Harry Potter and the Battle at the Ministry.
So I love that we've played with scale on this attraction, not just physically, but also with all of our animated figures. So Higgledy is one of our smallest figures, but has the most amount of movement. So being able to package all that movement in just her body was a giant engineering feat and challenge. But then you take that to the next level, and we wanted to say, how do we perfect humans? How do you bring Death Eaters to life? And then we took the problem to a third level and said, let's build the biggest animated figure that we've seen, the Erumpent. And how do we do that? And that engineering problem is totally different because it's not about packaging inside of a figure. It's about how do you move that huge, huge Erumpent so quickly and dynamically. I think what's so impressive about Battle at the Ministry is that it's not one technology, it's layered. And I think that's what really makes it special. In many of the scenes at Battle of the Ministry, we have many different magic tricks happening at the same time. And so being able to work with the blend of technologies and engineering specialties basically bring to life a Death Eater battle right in front of you.
There is a lot of blending of technologies between screens and animatronics and giant animatronics and some with projection mapping on their faces. So with technology, I keep thinking, there's a lot that can be unpredictable. Sometimes things can go wrong. So what is going to be like for a theme park like Universal to have a team dedicated to keeping all of this state-of-the-art tech running smoothly for everyone day in and day out?
I mean, with anything new, it comes risk. But I think that my favorite thing about Universal Creative is that we are bold, we take risks, and we try to do something new.
This is a very fun place. I have never seen so many animatronics out. And in the Florida heat too, I'm impressed. It's really delightful here.
It's always fascinating to me when the cutting edge technology that we see at trade shows makes its way into theme parks, because sometimes tech really does feel like magic. Let me know what you think, and be sure to subscribe to catch the next time we get a closer look at the new tech emerging in our world.